no, he's not. He's not. He's gone now. So what's this? You're just going to start recording, Stevie, and then it's from there on.
We've already started, man. It's just
good stuff. Good stuff.
just starting now. Okay, so what you should see now is yourself, a picture of yourself.
I see you, Chip.
That's you there. Do you recognize yourself?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, you're looking well. Is that a younger Joe or an older Joe?
The younger, slimmer Joe, I'd say, yeah.
15 on the jersey. So yeah, I've decided to take the road less traveled, Joe. You know, I'm gonna give the hurling a little bit of coverage here.
Yeah, really, really appreciate it now, Steve. We don't get too much coverage, and really appreciate your efforts. And I know you've gone to a lot of work in this podcast, so thanks a million for it. I was sort of.
What's going to happen to me now? Am I going to like develop some sort of touch in the Longford hurling?
Yeah, join the hurling fraternity here. We let you in. It's a tight knit bunch now. It's hard to get in, but once you're in, you're in. So we'll accept you into it.
I'm hoping now nothing bad happens to me for covering you. You know.
You never know. No, you never know.
It seems like the county board forgot all about you. You know.
Yeah. Look, it seemed like that for a long time. The footballers were getting treated a lot better. Now we never had anything against the footballers, but the last few years now it has improved. Brendan Gilmore changed it all when he came in, and it has improved for the lads in the last few years. So that's great.
Yeah. Well, hopefully now I don't understand it myself, because I think hurling as a sport, as a sporting spectacle is fantastic. And before we get on to the podcast, I just think that everybody should be supporting the Longford hurlers, and that they should be making an effort to get your games kind of coinciding with some football games, even if it were under 21 games or with some of the senior women's games, that they could get bigger crowds at your matches and make and give you more coverage,
But that's
put in a huge effort, so.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Stephen, and it's just a pity, you have lads putting in such effort, and then you hear when people are watching the games during the summer, and last 2 years has been hurling, but then you go out and play for Longford and you wouldn't have more than 50. It'd be family members, and serious hurling supporters. So I'm not saying it's the same standard as the top games, but you'd see the same skills in it, and it's just a pity that lads can't get behind it,
Yeah. I just think that they should make an effort to include the hurling with the football and mix the two. Like any day there's a big Leinster match with Longford, why not have a double header? Like why not put on a hurling match at 1 o'clock and then have the Longford on at 3, and what I mean, and then all of a sudden you're playing in front of 5,000 or 6,000.
Yeah, it makes such a big difference. Like even we played a county hurling.
If people actually went to see a bloody game, they'd realize that the standard is there, like that the skills are there, that the team is full-blooded and goes hard,
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think when people do come, they get hooked on it, and stay watching it. It's like a lot of these lads now I have on the team, have put in years and years and years of service, and it would be great to get them a bit extra recognition,
Exactly. Sure, listen, that's enough said on that, but whoever's listening, listen, let's get the hurling a bit more in the spotlight. So let's start.
Yeah, but even Stevie, just on the team of the 20 years that you're covering as well, it was so interesting, but I don't think it would have taken much more effort to do a hurling team of the 20 years and even a ladies team of the 20 years. I think just the effort that
100%.
the hurling ladies did as well. The Longford leader helped us a lot, but I don't think it would have been much more of an effort to do that.
Yeah, but and as you said, the women as well. Come on, what flipping century are we living in here? That why is the football getting so much recognition when actually there's an equal amount, if not more, success in the women's football and the hurling. You know what I mean? I think we there's been a couple of National League titles in the football and an O'Byrne Cup. But sure, you have loads of titles as well in the hurling, the Laurie Marr, stuff like that. The women have been doing great. it's just a bit ridiculous, to
Yeah, it
focus
is. Yeah,
to
and like I
focus
said,
everything on the football. Like, come on, when
yeah.
let's be honest, if there's going to be a chance of Longford winning a Leinster in the next 10 years, it's the women.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're flying, and maybe you guys can win your competition as well. The chances of Longford men seniors winning a Leinster, whoa, it's tough, with that Dublin team there, like,
Yeah, no,
but at the
yeah,
same
and
time,
that,
it's
and
just a bit of, if it could be a bit more, it's just the promotion of it. You know what I mean? It's just, there's no effort going into promoting. Even I don't see any videos of minors. I don't see any videos of under 21s. And to be honest, I'm not even seeing a lot of promotion of the senior team.
yeah, yeah.
Football.
Look,
Like, I don't
and
see them many games. I see a lot of like GA now, and a few other websites are making more effort. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
But
No,
anyway, we'll 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 throw it in, and we won't get too bogged down in that.
no.
But at the same time, as you said, it would have been very easy to do a hurling team and do a women's.
Yeah, and it's nothing against the footballers at all. We respect them, and it's just about showing a bit of respect to the hurlers and the ladies as well. Do you know?
Yeah, 100%. But anyway, let's they did their one team, so they probably think they've enough done. But if you know anything about intercounty football, you have to do a lot more than just pick a team, man. Or intercounty sport in general, a lot of work goes into it. So let's see. Andrea Pirlo warm up or Diarmuid O'Sullivan warm up? Now, Diarmuid O'Sullivan warm up. How do you think that would be? How would you describe a Diarmuid O'Sullivan warm up?
I'd say very physical, lots of hitting.
Yeah, maybe
That's the
put a
type
few
of game.
pucks through a few walls or something like that.
Yeah, very, very motivated. Walk out through the doors. That'll be a Davy Barden type warm up.
Bit of a Davy Barden warm up. And what
Yeah.
about Andrea Pirlo then? Is there any Pirlos on the Clongish side?
Well,
Paddy
yeah.
Dowd.
Paddy Dowd was a non-warm up merchant for
Yeah,
sure.
non-warm up merchant, right?
Didn't stretch ranting now, but myself, I'd be the more Andrew Pirlo. I suppose it'd be. I'd like, a few pucks earlier on that day where I used to puck around in the green, or I puck with my wife now and just are up against the wall and just get to touch in, and then just really get my stretches in before the actual warm up. And the hurling warm ups aren't as they're not as intense as the football warm ups. They're more about getting your eye in and getting your touch in and
Exactly.
winning. Yeah, winning that dirty ball. And even if, like, I was at the All-Ireland final last with Kilkenny and Tip, and Kilkenny's warm-up was just as simple as you'll ever see. It was two lads with a ball just smacking at each other from 30 yards, and that was it. And then they went into their stretching and they were ready to go,
That's it. Like, I don't see the point in these crazy hard warm-ups anyway. I think Trevor Smullen was saying to me there the last time, he's like, you might need that sprint with 5 minutes to go. You might need that extra burst, and if you've used it up in the warm-up, sure, what's the point? Like, it doesn't take long to get into a game. I would say getting into a game is not about bursting the gut. It's about trying to get your hands on the ball, trying to get into that first ball, the first tackle, and that's you in the game then, and get your first wind. But I don't like using up my first wind in a warm-up personally.
No, and it's interesting that there was the Ireland under-20 rugby's did a study there a few years ago. They weren't finishing the games well, and they said they were the fittest they ever were, and they couldn't figure it out. And they eventually went back to the warm-up, and they were covering a couple of miles in the warm-up, like ridiculous stuff. And that's why and that's why they reckon they weren't finishing strong, because they were doing so much at the warm-up.
Exactly. Right. So it's a lovely Saturday afternoon in June, about 23 degrees, slight breeze blowing down the field from the town end goals. Championship game at 5 against Kilkenny in the park. What does Joe O'Brien do to pass the day there? Now, this is real fantasy stuff. You're playing Kilkenny in the championship.
I was just thinking that.
This is when the Longford County Board completely abandoned the football and they invest all their money in the hurling, and then Longford hurling suddenly we become Division 1.
Yeah, I mightn't get out of bed if we're playing Kilkenny at 5 in Pearse Park. I might leave it to the other boys.
Yeah.
No, but usually, I suppose it's changed as I've got older. When I was younger, I would try and pass the day, go and visiting friends and all that. and keep them busy. I'd have a big breakfast and then a big pasta. And my sister used to cook me pasta and chicken before matches. So that was a nice tradition. And then
There's no sound of her.
yeah, and when I was younger, I didn't like going to matches too early. I didn't like being in the dressing room too early. I just felt I was just bored, you know. I'd arrive exactly at the time the manager asked, and I wouldn't be any earlier. But I suppose as I've got older, I've appreciated getting there earlier and doing the warm up, and, yeah, relaxing and meeting people and that. And I suppose I have 2 kids now, so the day of a game has totally changed. You know, you're whatever
Probably
they want.
better.
Yeah, it is. It takes your mind off the game completely. You know, you have
And do the
enough
kids
time.
go to the games?
Yeah, my youngest Oisín was just born a week before the county hurling final last year. So Killian then is 3.5. So he started coming to all the hurling games last year and really enjoyed them, and a few of the football games. So I really started enjoying my hurling more even last year, you know, knowing that Killian was there watching.
Nice. Cool. So that's how you just like to chill out, get some good food,
Yeah.
and get there a bit early now and just soak up the atmosphere and get ready to go.
Yeah, I'd never stress too much about it until I get there, you know. And then I suppose as I've got older, I've gotten more nervous before games, but I really try and focus that into nervous excitement then and nervous energy and use that, you know. So
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like their nerves are key, I think, really.
they
People are
are.
like, oh, you can't be. No, I think nerves they're natural, and if you don't have them, sometimes there's something wrong. Like
Yeah,
and like I've gone into games thinking, oh, not a bit of nerves. I'm feeling great. Haven't got any injuries. And it's always when you go in saying I have no injuries. Like I've nothing. You know, I don't have a tight ham here. I don't have a sore back. That's the day you get injured, or that's the day you just can't get into a game. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
think those nerves, harnessing those nerves, and accepting that you have nerves and not being all macho about it, you know, kind of going, no,
yeah.
I am a bit nervous, you know. This
Yeah,
is
and I know a few close friends of mine have retired early because the nerves were getting too much for them. Do you know? So it's how you
Oh,
harness those nerves as well, you know, and use them to your benefit rather than
yeah,
get
yeah.
caught up with them.
I remember going out for that Kerry game, when we beat them, and I remember like I had never ever been as fit in my life because I had stopped drinking. I don't know, 6 months before the league. I don't think I drank.
Yeah,
I don't think I drank over the Christmas or New Year's, and I was as fit as a fiddle. Like I couldn't be any fitter.
yeah,
And going the warm up, we had the warm up with the Kerry, and my 2 calves were like 2 rocks, man. I remember just 2 stones, and I was like, Jesus, what is going on here? So I went in. I think it was Vinnie Ford or Garage Fay. One of them. I says, lads, I need a rub out here. This is right before we went back out onto the pitch, and it was only a 2-minute rub, like just a quick rub
yeah,
them out. But did the job. But I tell you, you know, that's nerves. That's just
yeah. Oh, it is
tension
nerves. Yeah,
building up
100%.
in your legs, and your legs suddenly feel heavy when the week before you were training and you were flying.
Flying, yeah.
And
Pure
you felt
nerves.
as light as a feather, and then all of a sudden you're going on to the big day, the big game, and you're like, "Jeez, my legs are like 2 weights," you know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. That's the difference between the best players and the not the best players. That they can harness them nerves and they know what they are. You know.
yeah, accept them, you know, and realize that that's what they are, you know, and don't and then realize that 20 minutes after your first clash in the game, or after your first tackle or your first ball or your first score, you won't even feel them anymore. They'll be
Oh,
gone.
yeah,
You'll be in
forgotten
another
about
world,
it.
you know, for the next hour or whatever. So what's the key to a good team?
I suppose a good team. I suppose every good team needs a game plan. You know that every player believes in. I've been on a few teams where some lads haven't followed the game plan, and it upsets the rhythm of the whole team. You know, hurling there's not as much tactics. I suppose Davy Fitz has brought in more tactics, but before that it was more 15 on 15. You know, so I suppose you need to respect all your other players and just work for the rest of your team. The more on the good Longford teams I played with now, we had a great bond. You know, we went on hurling trips off to Warwickshire, played them away, and just got to know each other. Like, had a few pints with each other, and really got to know each other. And I felt that made us. That was probably the best team I played on, and that team we just fought for each other. You know, we knew each other so well and just fought for each other so much. I think that's the key to a good team for me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Forget about the flair, the style. It's when the team is willing to scrap for each other and doesn't go down without a fight.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I love playing on a team that is written off. I love actually playing on a team that hasn't been given a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that,
Yeah.
and I love when that team wins. You know what I mean? Like that, the team that nobody expects to win scraps it. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, the better feeling coming out of it too, when you know
you're
you
just like
every win.
those boys weren't expecting that. So
No,
what do you
no.
look for in a player then? If you're when in hurling, what do you think are the
again, when I've got older, I suppose the first thing I'd look in players now is attitude, you know, and the attitude to bring to the team. In hurling, I suppose a big characteristic would be able to look after yourself, you know, look after your own corner and be able to mind that, not have other players having to worry about you. And then the third one would probably be leadership. You know, there's different type of leaders. I'd like leaders on most lines of the pitch. You know, you can be a quiet leader. It's not all about shouting, but it's about your actions and how you approach training and approach matches. And you know, I think those three things is what I'd look for a hurler. I wouldn't be looking for skills or anything like that at the start. I think if you have a good attitude, that'll look after itself. You know.
Yeah. Always trying to improve the skills anyway. You know.
Yeah.
Also, if someone like talks a talk, you know what I mean? If you have a talker, you know, a guy that talks a big game, like they have to back it up, you know. Like,
yeah, and that's it. Yeah, and that's it. And you have to be careful when you're talking all the time if you don't back it up, because people stop.
Yeah, if you're gonna be the leader and shouting and roaring and we'll do this and we'll do that, and then you do nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. People stop listening to you very quickly.
That's where sometimes, as you said, you got the silent leader, the guy that says nothing, but will put in the first hit, or will get the first point for you, or will take the free, or you know, the guy that doesn't say anything, he just leads by example and just does.
Yeah,
it.
they're probably the player managers want to more than the.
And a good manager.
A good manager. Look, I've been very lucky to have so many good managers in the football and the hurling, and I suppose man management has become such a big thing now in the modern game. Probably wasn't as big when I started, but now it's massive, you know. And I think to be a good man manager, you have to get to know players, you know. And I think managers to get to know each player and how they react and know their home story and all that. I think they're the best managers.
That kind of get to know you and know how you tick.
Yeah, know how you tick, and then the second that can lead to what I think is. I had Dermot McCabe and Colley as football managers a few years ago, and just Dermot was he just never let you settle. He was just, I've never had a manager to challenge you as much and to become better and better and better, and it really showed, you know. He just always challenge you, and I think that's so important in a manager as well.
But not put pressure on you.
No, not pressure. Just challenging yourself to be a better player, you know, and not to be worried about anyone else. Just if you can challenge yourself all the time. And I was very lucky in my house growing up that Dad was always there, and he was always challenging me. You know, don't accept being good in that game. You have to go again. Or if I had a bad game, he'd be motivated. He knew how to motivate me. You know what to say, and so you'd be motivated going into the next game. And I think managers
terrible.
Really.
Oh, dude, I used to play soccer, you know, pretty good soccer, like, and he'd drive me to some of the games, and if I played well, he'd be happy out on the way home in the car. Now you'd be going the whole way to Dublin to play the game, like, so you'd be driving an hour and a half. But if you played bad, like, and you know, you can't play well every game, like.
Yeah.
If you play bad, he barely speak to you on the way home, like you offended him or something, like.
Yeah.
Honest to God, like the pressure you're under to perform. But when I used to go down to the games, then when Mum would drive me down during the week sometimes, because Dad couldn't. We had games on a Wednesday, and Mum would let you put on the rave music in the car. We're going down the little Nissan Micra down the motorway with the tunes blaring, and I mightn't even play that well, you know, when Mum was there. But you'd be on the way home in the car, she'd be like, "Oh, geez, you did a great header there. I saw that was a lovely header you did." And she's, "I thought you played all right." And I'd be like, "Mum, I played crap," you know. She's like, "No, you were all right. You weren't that bad." Whereas Dad would be like, "You were used."
Yeah, no,
my
dad would be the opposite.
you know, just straight.
Yeah. My dad would be the opposite now. If I played well now, Dad would tell me how I could be better, and if I played bad, then he'd try and build me up a bit, you know. So I sort of copped on to that when I was pretty young. I knew whether I played well or bad.
Oh Jesus! I remember playing rugby with my old boy as the coach. Under 12s, and we were like machines for the tackling, like, and I would be scoring, I don't know, we play a blitz with 4 teams. We'd be playing against Tullamore, Mullingar, Edenderry and these boys, and we'd win the blitz. I'd be scoring 2-3 tries a game, like no problem, and he, on the way home, he'd be telling you about the tackle that you missed. And I mean, I'd be dump tackling lads at under 12. I'd be putting in proper dump tackles, and I'd be pulling, I don't know how many tackles I was doing a game, and he'd still be talking about the one that you missed.
Yeah, that's the way, and that's
tough,
what
man. Tough love.
Yeah, it's tough love, and some people need it.
Yeah, but Mam would be the opposite, so maybe, you know, that's
good balance there.
Well, but so we're going to go into your team now, right? You've picked a team that is Longford based, right? All Longford players, right? So from clubs in Longford.
Played for clubs in Longford and from Longford, and I thought they deserved the recognition from it. And
even though there are some players that we'll mention from outside the county that played for Longford as well, is it?
Yeah, I'll mention them after. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's get going, man. Goalkeeper, in nets.
Goalkeeper, I'll go to my honourable mention first.
Paddy Cullen, is he from Edwarstown? No. Maybe.
Yeah, Paddy Cullen is Edwarstown, and this definitely the hardest decision I had to make in this team was to leave out Paddy. I was telling you I changed my team about 20 times, and I'd say Paddy.
Sorry, Joe. Before I continue, guys, I tried a few people for the hurling team, and a lot of people kind of shied away from it. And Joe didn't really want to do this, but he did. So it is tough to pick these teams. So Paddy, I think Joel will tell you now, explain how tough this was, right?
Yeah, well, I said it to you when you got on to me first. I'm still playing, and I found it very hard to pick players that were still, like, I don't want to be motivating lads, giving motivation from lads from Edwarstown and Slashers saying, "Oh, he didn't pick me." And then I play on a very good Clongish team at the minute that we had a great run in Leinster last year. But I just, like, we have some brilliant players in that team, but I sort of went for longevity as my main characteristic of the hurler. And we probably haven't won them as much as we should have with this Clongish team. So there's an awful lot of them very unlucky to make it, you know, but very good hurlers. But it was tough. This was definitely my toughest decision to leave Paddy out. Like, he's an absolute gent of a man and an unbelievable hurler. Like, I could have put him in. I had him in wing back in one team. I had him in corner forward in another team. I had him in goals. He was just an incredible hurler. He's given his life to hurling. He's just a super person. I have great time for him. Like, he was just brilliant.
Give him the second half, we'll say.
Yeah, I definitely.
Anya plays the first half. Any slip ups, Paddy's in.
Switch him straight in. Yeah, look, he's brilliant. He was a brilliant goalie. His father, John Cullen, he's hurling royalty. You know, I used to come to every game. I just remember him from when I was under 12 up. John was just always there. And no, this was definitely the toughest position. Paddy is an unbelievable hurler, and I'm sorry, Paddy. I'll get you in the next team.
Yeah, Paddy. There's no. But Anya, let's talk about Anya a little bit.
We went with Anya. Anya has improved so much. Anya probably would have been behind Paddy in a lot of teams, but since he's got in there, Colm O'Mara brought in a few brilliant coaches for Anya a few years ago. He was training with the Galway goalies down in Galway, and just the improvement from then on has been unbelievable. He's so comfortable in the goals now. His puck out is such a weapon. Like, he can drive it over 100 yards, but he can put it straight on your chest. Like, we won the sevens there back in, I don't know what year it was, but myself and Paul were the two forwards in the sevens, Paul Barton Senior, and literally you'd make a run 5 yards and then you would put it exactly where you wanted it, you know, and then you were through on goal. So it's a brilliant weapon to have. He's improved his catching under the high ball. He's improved his shot stopping. His communication could still be better. He's still a bit angry in the goals, but we give him away with that.
But I don't know. I think you need that in a goalkeeper. Look at your Peter Schmeichels and these boys. You know, they always have a bite. You know.
They do have a bite. And just on the keepers there, I only was thinking Conor Gallagher. He's a sub keeper at the minute for the county, but he's probably the best shot stopper I've ever played with. He's incredible in the goals. His shot stopping ability is second to none now. He's great. But
no, I went with who does he play for?
He's Slashers now. He's Slashers goalie.
Very good.
No, I went with Ian, and I'm happy with that decision. He's
okay. No, man. Let's be honest here. I'm sure if there was an Edwarstown person, and by the way, if there's an Edwarstown person that wants to put in a hurling team, give me a shout. You can put Paddy in. But listen, man,
it'd be. Great.
This has been happening a lot, Joe, with the teams. The lads have trained and played with lads, and that's the thing that kind of swings it. You know what I mean? As you said, you've seen the improvement, like, you know.
Yeah, and that's it. And
you know them like the back of your hand because you're probably taking shots on them every day at training.
Yeah, 100%. I know him very well, and he's really put in like he's with the county for I don't know how long, and I remember Tom Lynham used to put up, and the new manager does it as well with the people that have missed training, and Ainya's driving from Galway and never misses a session, like never ever misses. You know, so that's why the improvement has come. Yeah, Anya Daly number one.
You made the team. Congrats, Anya Daly. Paddy, unlucky. Next team maybe, or after half time if Anya lets one in.
Yeah, we'll bring him on somewhere.
Very good. Right corner back, Fergal Daly. I think I have the right photo here. Do I?
You have the right photo. Yeah, he won't thank you for that one though. He's chasing down a fella.
That's good cornerbacks, man. That's usually what they're doing anyway. You know.
Look,
the only photos to find.
Yeah, no, they're hard. Them photos back from the boys that were back in the day are hard to find. But the cornerbacks I found very tough to pick. Like we had some brilliant cornerbacks for Clongish. You had Aidan Brady, Damien Brady. My good friend Tic Tac was just out with him last night. He won like two county medals cornerback, but he just didn't. He was a brilliant cornerback, but just didn't really have the interest in hurling. And then there was a fella called Bomber McAvey that, oh my God, you did not want to be marking him, Declan McAvey. He'd kill you.
Yeah.
But no, I just thought of him last night. I was just going through, so I said I'd give them a mention. My first one there is Mick Wall. Mick would have been older now when I played against him, but he was still just incredible hurler. He's so strong and a good reader of the game. Like I marked him a few times now, and he was a very good hurler. You know, so I put him in there.
Stock. I think I'll make you. They used to make the hurleys.
Oh yeah,
do they still make hurleys?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think so.
Dermot is in and doing all that kind of carpentry and wood stuff now. I'd say if you want a hurley, you should probably call Mick Wall or one of those boys. You get yourself.
100%. Look, the Walls were involved in Longford hurling for as long as I remember. You know, they were all in.
I used to live down beside them there. I used to live next door to the Walls. Yeah, I did. But I thought the photo there, Fergal, is okay. He's chasing the man, but I just thought that if you were ever to take a photo of someone who is determined, look at the face. Like his neck, he's like, you know what I mean? Like he's just fighting so hard. Like, and I just think that's a great characteristic. What about Jared Moore?
Yeah, Jared Moore is our cornerback at the minute, and Jared was very hard to leave out. Like himself, he's improved again every year. And last year for the club, he was just exceptional. He just quietened any forward that went in. He's a really direct cornerback. He attacks that ball. He's strong. He just gets out front. And you know what? He seems like he's been around forever. He's only a young lad, but he's just become such a leader in the Clongish dressing room and behind the scenes in the club in Clongish. He's really turned into a leader. You know, it was very hard to leave him off. A great time for him. like I said about Ian, he's just improved so much in his hurling and
But you listen,
attitude.
an honourable mention is still, you know, a
It is, yeah.
compliment too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think these. You talked already about guys that didn't even make the honourable mentions there. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah, and it is.
Yeah.
And look, he's a lot of hurling to do yet to
Exactly.
improve.
If it was 5 years' time, he'll probably be the first name on the team sheet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and look, I went with Fergal
Yeah.
Daly. He's Anya's brother. Like, I grew up beside him. We had an estate there in Castle Park where we all grew up, and the Dailies were there, and the Corcorans were there, and I think I counted last night that we had 11 county hurlers from that one estate.
Really?
Yeah, 11 county hurlers that would have played throughout. So we had myself, the 2 Dailies, the 5 Corcorans. You had Paul Barden Juniors from the same estate. You had my cousin Raymond O'Brien, and you had Colin McCormick played as well. So that's 11. And you had the 2 Williams, Enda and Kieran, to add into the mix there as well.
Yeah, did they play a bit of hurling? Yeah.
Yeah. They were very. Kieran was probably more natural hurler, but Enda was fierce, strong, and on the ball. He played under 14. He didn't play anymore, but
because the football just took over there.
Took off, yeah. But Anya Fergal's dad is Noel. He's from Clymerdale in Galway, and he would have been the fella that got us all into the hurling in the estate, and that's where we all learned. But like Fish was how do I describe, just a Rolls Royce of a cornerback. He could play anywhere on the pitch. His touch was that good, but he loved the art of defending. You know, like the nicest fella you could meet off the pitch, but even in training, if you went by him, he would cut the wrist off you. Do you know? And that's what I'd say is good to that fella there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I know it's not him bursting out with a ball, but at the same time, isn't that like pure? That's the life of a cornerback.
Yeah, exactly. And he is the ruthless side on the pitch of a cornerback.
Man. Talk about determination in that photo.
Yeah.
Like, he's fighting hard there. Like, so yeah. Congratulations, Fergal Daly. Good man.
Brilliant player. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Fullback. Tommy.
Yeah. That's a great picture of Tommy. That's talk
about multitasking. Huh?
That sums Tommy up to a T. That I don't have to say anything about Tommy. That is Tommy all over. Look, just holding your man down by the neck and catching the ball with the other hand a foot over. Like that was Tommy all over. Tommy was incredible fullback. Just absolutely ruthless. Like, if you went in there once and scored a goal, you would know all about it. You'd think twice about coming back in. And he hurled for so long with the club and county. And like, people underestimate his hurling ability because he's full back. Do you know the way that you sort of pigeonhole fullbacks and cornerbacks that they can't hurl? But Tommy had all the skills, like his block and hook and strike and catch, and he had everything. And then he was ruthless to go with it. So I had to put Tommy in fullback. Just an incredible player, fullback.
Yeah. He's a tank.
Yeah. He was.
He's like Dermot O'Sullivan, nearly physique. Like, I saw, because I was looking for photos of him, a few photos, and I was looking on around for them, and he's a beast of a lad. He's big arms on him, big chest.
Big arms, yeah.
Kind of just your stereotype fullback, bit of a Dermot O'Sullivan, nearly, you know, like, just, as you said, you're going in there, but are you going to come out alive? Like, you know?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah,
and it's funny you mentioned.
Yeah, it is what you want. Yeah, it's what you want. And it's funny you mentioned Dermot O'Sullivan, because my honourable mention is my cousin John, who I found very hard to leave off. But Mark Cassidy used to call him the Rock O'Sullivan because of his style of play. He was
John was a strong boy too. I know John.
Unbelievable strength.
Big physical strength, yeah.
Big physical strength. And like we won the Fela down in Wexford in '99, and he was full back in that team. And I don't think we conceded a goal the whole tournament until the final. He was immense. He was a huge man, and he was a leader, like a massive leader in all our teams. I'd say he was near the captain of every team underage that we played, and we just all looked up so much. You know, he still is a leader in the club, but I had to leave him out. He went away for a while, and he never really took up the hurling since he came back. But a brilliant hurler, still capable of playing hurling, you know. But his old dodgy finger doesn't help.
Yeah, that's it. The old fingers, I tell you, that when you wreck a finger, I wrecked one of my middle
Yeah,
fingers playing rugby there a couple of years ago, dislocated it for the second time, and oh, ever since then, it
oh,
puts the doubt in your head, you know. It's like,
yeah, he got an awful doing on his ring finger, and it's just it never went back into place, and it's
mm,
horrible, you
yeah,
know. It's just you
it's
can't
very
play with it, you know.
tough, tough going. Yeah,
Tough
absolutely.
one, right? Yeah, he's a big loss to us now.
Right, but Tommy is the man. He got in there.
Tommy number 3, yeah, I'd be happy to have Tommy on any team.
Right, I didn't actually go for any of them, man. I just called it the Corcoran corner and put them all in
Yeah,
left corner back.
yeah. Well, I won't tell them my decision then because that suits me.
I
The
think it
Cork
does. Yeah,
corner.
I think it's pretty
Yeah,
pretty funny actually.
yeah. It was nearly impossible to pick. Like the 4 Corkins and then end as the older brother. You know, Big Coke. I'll talk about him
I know
later. But
Coco. Yeah, yeah, I do. I
yeah,
remember
these
I
4.
actually he's the lad I remember from Mel's. I remember him
Yeah,
playing hurling and Mel's with Enda because I played senior hurling and Mel's when I was in first year.
yeah. That's mad. I did the same, and it was Coco that got me playing as well in
Yeah,
first.
Coco.
Picked him up, and
Mm.
I must have played with you in Mel's because
Mm.
I
You
say I
might have been a
played on
year
every
behind
team
me.
in
I
there.
think I only played in first year, man. But
Yeah, I was a year behind you. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't play for long, unfortunately.
No, no, you had other commitments, but yeah, this like going across there. I start with Kieran there on the right. Like Kieran has all the ability. I'd say he's as much ability as any of them. When you tell Kieran he can't mark someone or that fella roasted you the last day. Jeez, he'll go out there and your man won't even get a sniff of it. You know, he's so determined. Now again,
Reverse
he's
psychology works on
yeah,
Kieran.
yeah, that's what you have to. Yeah, get it. Like any of the Corkins,
Hopefully
if
he's
you
not
get them.
listening now.
No, he probably Kieran
He'd be
wouldn't.
like, every time you tell him that fella roast me, you're only messing, man. Come on.
Leroy will go in one ear and out the other ear for him. No, look, the Corkins have an unbelievable hurling family. Their mother Margaret is a legend in our club, and
Mm,
their father Tony passed away, but he was a legend too. Like, and they're
mm.
just the 5 boys. And someone said about a manager said a few years back about if you have a Corkin on the team, you know you're going to get 100% from one of your players, you know. And like I don't think the 5 brothers ever played together, but if they did, you'd win any match. Like
Jeez,
these,
you've nearly a whole half a team
yeah,
there. And
yeah, yeah.
Anto,
Like
which one is Anto there? Sorry,
good
I
fella
can't remember.
doing is the third picture. That's the sort of sidestep. Now
Yeah.
I have to say, Anthony probably was the best hurler of them all. He had the most hurling ability. He could play. He could play out the field. He just pure natural hurler. He came back there. Anthony actually left the week before the county football final in 2011. He was a huge loss when we lost the Slashers. He was flying cornerback, and he had to go off to get a job in Australia. And I suppose he was hurling out of his skin as well that time. But he came back last year and played corner forward in the team that won the championship. And he didn't have the same fitness, but he was still just class hurler. Always had loads of hurling in him and
Very good. And then
just
Bob.
brilliant. Yeah. Bob was my age. Bob captained our Fela team and just such a determined fella. But he was the first. I remember playing with the county and we would go out and the back line would look which forward is the danger man, which forward is the fast fella, and that would be put Bob on him straight away. Put
Yeah,
Bob on him.
man
Then it's
marker.
funny, yeah, man marking. It's funny when Bob left, Anto came in, and Anto had the same job. Whoever was the main forward, Anto go take him out, and Bob was just determination, just incredible, like speed coming out of the corner. He just was the hardiest fella. If you ran into him, it was like hitting steel. It was just
Mm.
incredible cornerback. And then Paddy's the last picture there blocking. Like Paddy has improved unbelievable. Like I said about Jerry and Ian, his mindset the last 2 years seemed to have changed. He's just so determined. Every training he does, he's just nearly the best fella training. He's the best
Improving
fella
all
in
the time.
yeah, just in last year, I said about Jerry already, but Paddy and Jerry last year, like we went through Leinster and we went bet Slashers and Edgeworthstown and then Slash in the final, and they were the 2 best players in every match. That's no word of a lie.
Right.
They were just unbelievable in every match. So Yeah, we'll give that to Cork and corner. We won't. If you'd four them in the back line, you'd be very confident of winning any match.
Sometimes there's no need to pick one. They're all
No.
the same bloodline. They're all the same. They're pretty much the same person.
We let them have a Royal Rumble and see who comes out on top.
Which one is the youngest?
Kieran is the youngest. Leroy in the yellow jersey.
Yeah,
there.
He's probably going to be the best by the end of it all because he'll have learned from the other three.
Yeah.
That's usually the way. All right, listen, we'll rock on.
Yeah,
right wing back, Johnny Casey, and then honourable mention, Carl Murray.
Yeah, honourable mention. I said how hard leaving Paddy Cullen off. Now this was very hard too. I think, in my opinion, Carl is going to be the best hurler in Longford. He's gonna dominate Longford hurling for a long time. He's just has that ability.
How old is Carl now? 26?
Yes, Carl, I'm not. He's in mid-20s, yeah, but I don't think any manager has found his best position yet. I don't know myself what his best position, but he's every attribute you want in a hurler. He's strong, fast, brilliant hurling skills. And that's probably his downfall. People just throw him anywhere, we'll fill the gap there with Carl, but I think he'll end up maybe centre back and just dominate for years. He was very hard to leave off.
I know his mother Jennifer as well, lovely woman.
Yeah, and Carol is so.
She goes to all the games and everything.
Oh, every match, yeah, every match.
How are you, Jennifer? If you're listening, how are things?
How are you, Jennifer? Yeah,
they're near Stone Park. What was I going to say? Carl kind of dedicated himself to the hurling. I think he could have been a footballer as well if he wanted to.
Yeah, and he plays football. And he went into the rugby last year as well, or 2 years ago.
Kind of a bit of rugby, that's good too. Yeah, I think Carl, maybe centre midfield, maybe he has the end.
Yeah, I think that'll be his position. Yeah, I think he's too pinned down in full back. But look, an immense player, and again, very unlucky not to make the team.
But Johnny Casey gets the nod. He'll be happy with
Johnny
that.
Got in,
Casey.
yeah.
He'll be loving you now. Johnny will buy you a pint for that.
Yeah, I couldn't leave Johnny off. I just couldn't leave him out. Look, an unbelievable character to have in the dressing room. Just
buzzer.
Great lad. Always so upbeat. And like some managers come in and don't take to him straight away until they see that he's not just a messer. Like, he is so committed to the hurling and looking after himself. And it always takes. It's funny. Every manager takes a few months to warm to him, but by the end of the year, he's their favourite player. And he's like that in everything.
The energy brings an energy to it.
Full of energy, yeah. And I have to say, he came up with the slogan, "Love the game, not the fame," to be a Longford hurler. And it's a pity he came up with it because he's probably the most fame-hungry fella I've ever met in my life. But it's a great slogan.
I saw those wedding photos, man. He looks like some Gucci or something.
Oh, Bex.
Something else, Bex. Yeah, that's it. But sure, listen, isn't it good to have characters like John there, or like Johnny that are like, could be a footballer, could do whatever, could pretty much play whatever he wants. Probably make a very good, I would say, like scrum half in rugby.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's bringing a bit of style to the hurling, and he loves it. And he's on Facebook and he's on Instagram, and you need players like that who are going to promote the game.
You do, and he ups the Longford hurling, and look, a brilliant player too, not just in it for being a character.
Absolutely, yeah.
So athletic and just. On the breaking ball, he's lighting into the breaking ball. He's a brilliant hurler to play with, and he can look after the other positions as well. He's not out for himself on the pitch. He's a good team player, So he was in wing back there for a bit of speed.
Who's he playing for? Which club?
He's Slashers now.
Slashers, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Johnny Casey, good man yourself. You're in there. Gucci's in there. Bex, wing back.
Bex in, yeah.
All right, very good. Centre half back. Brendan Stakem. Would I be right in saying that's Benny Stakem?
That's Benny, the great Benny Stakem, yeah.
I marked him once.
Yeah. Benny was the first name I put down on the team. That's the truth, number 6.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Oh, a legend. Just unbelievable number 6. He's dominated for Edwardstown and Longford for so long. I go back to
Rory, yeah. I know Rory as well. Rory's from Lanesbury.
Yeah, Rory.
Yeah.
Rory is Owen's brother, yeah, they're from Lanesbury, yeah. And
Rory, sound man.
Rory's an exceptional hurler, but he seemed to step away from hurling every so often and then come back. But I was looking back at the 2 wins we had, the Laurie Maher wins, and he was on the 2 of them.
Yeah.
And he's just such a quiet, unassuming fella, but he was a brilliant hurler. He just read the game so well. And like Benny, he just, I was going to say, as we won the county or the All Ireland minor, I don't know what year it was, but Rory was centre back and Benny was full back, and the performance of the two of them in the final against Donegal, I still remember to this day. Now that's a long time ago. Two of them, and from there on in, Rory was just a class hurler. He just stepped away from it too much,
Very
you know.
quick.
And, lightning across the ground, but he just centre back there. He just covered, like in any good centre back, just covers that area left and right, and he was just great striker of the ball as well. Brilliant player and hard to leave out. And Dara Duggan as well was another fella I thought of last night. He's a young up and coming player from Banlalee.
Yeah, right.
He's an exceptional centre back too. He hurls for Edwardstown and the county. He was captain of the county when he was only 19. But I think he's a brilliant footballer as well. So I'd say he'll be getting pulled from all angles now the next few years.
Yeah, hopefully he'll stick at the hurling.
He's God. He'll give us the commitment. Yeah, he's a great lad. Yeah, no, but I had to go. As I said, Benny was my first name on the team sheet. Just brilliant centre back. Like we do always laugh at each other when I played for Clongish. Edwardstown don't want Benny marking me, and Clongish don't want me on Benny. So for some reason, we never really get on each other. But he just kills us every year. He just reads the game so well. Like Tommy, just an unbelievable hurler, blocking, hooking, skills.
I marked them once. I had never played hurling before, and Sean Stakelum Senior. It was against Edwardstown, against Slashers in a Fela match, Fela qualifier, and I was just told just run after him, and every time he gets the ball, try and touch the ball away from him, or try and just get in his way. And sure, he was class hurler, like, you know what I mean. I was just running after him, just trying to flick the ball away, but he still probably scored about 6 or 7.
Yeah, and that's funny. That's funny because, like, with Clongish, we've tried everything. We've tried a fella man marking him. We've tried a fella to run away from him, get him out of the centre. But he's such a good hurler that he just knows what we're at and just hurls anyway.
Sure, he's a legend.
Linchpin of this team now at number 6.
Yeah, he's a legend, and he's a strong boy. Look at him as well. He's very physique, great physique for a centre back. Perfect, like.
Yeah, he's all there.
Good vision and all that. Got the whole lot.
Yeah, unbelievable. And a gent off the pitch as well. You know, like on the pitch, a different man on the pitch. But that's what you want. Like you want lads to change on the pitch, and off the pitch, he'd forget about what happens on a gent. But like you said, spraying the ball in as well. He's just a brilliant hurler.
A man giving a good ball.
You know.
Yeah, you need the good ball coming into you, and if you have a good centre back, he'll give you in a good ball, you know, because it's at that distance, you know, where he can reach the full forward line.
Yeah, that's what you need from your centre back. Yeah,
absolutely perfect. So Benny's in there. Robbie Stakelum, is he any relation to Sean? No,
that's Sean's older brother. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Stakelum, you know all about the Stakelums.
I know them, because I would know Sean Senior and Sean.
Yeah.
Right.
Big influence on Longford hurling too, and I played with Brian Stakelum too. Was a very good hurler, but again he stepped away. There was another brother, Cahill, was meant to be an exceptional hurler too, but he was gone before I started now.
Right.
But I'll go to my honourable mention first. Seamus Hannon. Look, Seamus was unlucky not to make it. He's an incredible athlete. Again, you could play him anywhere on the hurling team. Like he's centre forward. I remember him playing there. He's such a serious runner with the ball. He just skies through things, you know. He's very hard to catch. But for the county now, I remember his best years wing back and centre back. And again, probably he went over to London for a long time. He played football over there, and that's probably why he's not on the team. But another exceptional player, you know. He was hard to leave out.
But Robbie got the nod.
Robbie, that's a great picture of Robbie. Look, Robbie, when I talk about unbelievable readers of the game, Robbie was definitely the best reader of the game I have ever played with. He never seemed to have pace, and that's the honest truth. That's nothing against him. He never seemed to have pace. You would always say, "Oh, look, Robbie, put someone on Robbie there, or that Robbie will be in trouble with that fella's speed." But never ever have I seen him getting a roast. He just was such a good reader of the ball. Just always, like, himself and Shawnee, I'll talk about Shawnee later, but they're like magnets for the ball. They just know where that ball is going all the time. And Robbie was the best I've ever seen at that. He was a real leader in the dressing room. But you know what? We played the Northern teams an awful lot, and sledging came into the game big time when we used to play them. And there was no one better than Robbie to give it back to them. He used to love. Yeah. Oh, Robbie was brilliant at it. And there's not too many of us that were sledging back, but Robbie was the king of it. But I really looked up to Robbie when I was a player, and I marked him one semi-final. It was funny. We actually got we had to replay them because we played an underage player, and it ended up our manager getting suspended and everything. It was ridiculous. The new rule came in about under 16s or something. And we brought on Michael Devon, and we bet him the first day. But the first day I was on Robbie, and I did well on him. Let's just say I did all right on him for the first time ever. But the second day, I said, look, I'm going to run this fella I'm going to run left, right, centre. I'm not going to stay in centre back position. And he absolutely cleaned me. Just the ball, he just hurled every ball. So the second half I went down and I said, right, I'm going to stand beside him here. Clean me again. Just took me out of the game completely. So I always remember how good he was.
So that's why he gets in there, because he cleaned you.
Yeah.
That seems to be happening a lot in these teams. There's always someone that's cleaned you.
Yeah, 100%.
You never forget them. You never
I don't
forget them. It just leaves a little scar there that just never heals, right?
Yeah, I'd have to get him back someday.
Oh yeah, you'll be some over 40s game or something like that.
Yeah, he's still hurling away. He started for Slashers last year in the final. Yeah.
Jesus, good man.
Yeah.
Right, well, Robbie's in there now. Centre midfield, Brendan Burke. Jeez, this one now surprised me. I wasn't even too. He's about to hook your man there.
Yeah.
Brendan, Jenny Mac. Brendan's a superb footballer as well. I had no idea he was at that level of hurling.
Yeah, Brendan would be the only one of this team that would be on my football 15 as well. He was just an incredible footballer as well. But I'll start off with Enda Corcoran, as the Honourable mentioned.
Enda Coco.
Yeah, Coco was he was Mr. Hurling, you know. I used to look up to him so much when I was younger. He was just incredible. Like, I played for the under-21s match. I'll never forget it. I was in goals, and we played Edwardstown down in Newtown pitch, and Coco was midfield. And if you ever seen a one-man show that day, but Edwardstown did everything possible to try and stop him. I mean everything. I'd say about 3 of them got sent off for hitting him.
Yeah.
But Coco just got up every time, took the free and put it over the bar. It was an inspiring performance. I still think back to it. He was just that kind of inspired player, you know. He gave you everything. He loved it. He loved the nitty-gritty stuff. And
he's a sound head too.
Yeah, sound head and
as a pound, man. I remember being I think I was in first year. I'm really sure first year or second year in Mel's going to play with the seniors now, and I was only a little corner forward or whatever, and he was just sound to me. You know what I mean? Like, and he was a fifth year or fourth or fifth year, and he was just a sound man. I was like, he could. And he was probably the best player on the team, you know, and.
Yeah, and that's funny. Like, he was more or less managing that hurling team in Mel's from probably third year on.
Mr. Boland.
Yeah, and that's it. He told me to bring in my gear. He didn't tell me what for, and then he just said, "Oh, look, you're playing a senior game today." He goes, "I look after you."
Yeah, that's it. So, I remember you said that to me, Lynchy. If you got your gear, and I said, "Man, I bring my gear in every day, man, because there's either going to be a rugby match on, a hurling match on, a soccer match on, or a Gaelic football match on. I always have the gear. I just leave the gear in the class." Yeah. Coco's a ledge, but Brendan got the nod.
Yeah, Brendan, and I don't say this easily. I'd say Brendan Burke is the best hurler I've played with from Longford. That's the honest truth. He is incredible hurler. Like, he was captain of that minor team that won in Croke Park, the Bet Mayo, the Shock Mayo, and most of this team that I have today would have been playing on that. And I remember Brendan was captain of that, but that was my influence. You know, I loved that team. I looked up to them all, but just Brendan, just play him anywhere, like, just cover the ground. But he was such a natural hurler. He could do everything, you know. So easy to play with. I remember going up to play the last time we won it 7 years ago. We went up to play Lusma and Offaly, who were a serious intermediate team, and Brendan Burke just ran the show from midfield, you know. And this was against Lusma, who were usually a senior team in Offaly. and he just ran the show, and he's done that in so many games for hurling, and he probably is the exception to the rule here that football probably was his first game, but he was just such a good hurler. I had to put him in.
No, 100%. But like,
Yeah.
isn't it a testament to him that he can reach the levels that he's able to do? He's a true dual player, no more than yourself,
Yeah.
I have to say now. And I know that you're picking this team, but I'm sure you're nearly going to be the first name in everyone's. If they were picking this team, they would put you in. But you could equally be on, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. With the football, when we're playing knee for Clongish, oh jeez, man, it's you are a killer in there in full forward. Like you're very like that's dual player, proper dual player, like well able.
Yeah.
And Brendan is there as well. He's well able.
Brendan is 100% like that. You're like such a good footballer, but then he can just switch. He's a very natural hurler. He just
I think I
can
spelled
switch
his
it
name wrong. Sorry, Brendan. I think I put in I put in an extra A there. I'm not sure.
He won't
Yeah, all
question
right.
you.
Sorry,
Yeah. So a gentleman as well, a sound man. But
sound man. Yeah, he was on the county senior football team as well when I was on it. Like he's that good, He's an athlete as well and a leader.
Yeah.
He's kind of one of those quiet leaders.
Yeah, that's what he is, a quiet leader, and he was like that for so long. And he's the hardest man I've ever marked in football in my life. I used to be put on him in training all the time, and it was like he knew what I was going to do all the time.
Yeah, he's clever.
And I don't have to speed to burn anyone, so I just couldn't get away from him. It was just it was a nightmare.
That was it. Like I think when he never really relied too much on speed, he had to use his brain, and that's why he can just play him anywhere really, Got a very good football head. I'm sure he'd be the same in the hurling. So Brendan, you're in there. Brandon Don. Congratulations. Sorry about that. Right, centre mid is Paul Barden Jr. and captain.
Yeah.
Right, and an honourable mention, Shawnee Stakelum.
Yeah, look, Shawnee Stakelum was like Robbie. He's just a magnet to the ball. And Shawnee, when we were underage, Shawnee was the man. He was just so far ahead of everyone else in Longford. Like, he was easily at 14, 15, the best hurler in Longford. He was just incredible. He was just, and he was he was just so wiry. He was just as hardy. Like, I remember going to games, we were playing Westmeath teams and from other counties that would be higher levels, and they always picked Shawnee out after the match and just said, look, your number 8 is incredible. We went down to the Fela. I think we're Division 3 or 4, and he was the only player you take off our team, and you could have slipped him into one of the Division 1 teams, easily. And he was the best hurler by a mile at that time, but he just, like other lads that didn't make it, he stepped away from the hurling for a while and just hard to get back into it. He came back for bits and bobs in a few years. He was on the team that won in 2014, but just never was as good as that. And that's not slagging him or that's not offending him. Just he was just such an unbelievable hurler underage. He just never, I suppose, matched that expectation that I had of him.
Yeah, but when you step away, Joe, when you step away for a few years, you really need, like, for example, if he stepped away for 4 years, like, it's going to take him another 4 to get back anywhere where he was, So if he only came back for a year, he probably got to a level, but not at the level you were expecting,
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. But even he was back there when we won the Kyo Cup a few years ago, and he was centre forward, and he just a magnet for the ball. Like Robbie, I don't know how to do it. It just seemed to pick up the ball so much, just bounces into them, and you think it's luck, but it's not. They obviously know where it's going and be able to read it,
Hurling in the blood, man.
That's for sure. Yeah, Tipperary blood.
Yeah, it's in the veins. Like and great touch and skill and silky, class hurler. But captain and Paul Barden Jr.
Yes, the leader of this, Paul. If I had to pick any team anywhere, Lynchy, on hurling, Paul will be first. He's first in there. He has to be in there. He's just such a leader for our club. He's been captain the last 7 years. He just gives you want someone to give you everything they have. This is your man at every training. He's the fella training that if you're not in the right attitude, you do not want to go near him. He'll work you so much. He'll work you from every angle, but he just doesn't know how not to give 100%. Like, I'll tell you a good story about him last year. we were working on the dirty ball, as we call it in the hurling, because we were going into Leinster and it was getting wintry and
Oh yeah, gets rough in there.
it
Oh,
gets rough. So the pitch was brought in. We were about 30 yards square, all 30 of us in the middle of us, and you put the ball in on the ground in between everyone, and you had to fight for that ball on the ground and see who would get it. Paul got it 5 times in a row among 30 of us.
jeez.
And the manager had to take him out. The manager said, Paul, you come out and we let everyone else do this drill. That's what just a dirty ball winner. He'll guarantee you 10 hooks and blocks every game. It's just, I'd have him on, his work rate is immense. And he's a good hurler as well. Like, that doesn't take away from his hurler.
Chip in with a
He'd
few scores, would he?
Yeah, he is. He's well able to get 1 or 2 points every game. But his main job is blocking, hooking, taking other lads out of the game. And he loves it. He just
Like
loves that.
Liam Keenan of hurling.
Yeah, and you need that on the team as well. And that's why you have him
100%.
there.
Well,
Yeah.
Liam is captain on a lot of people's teams, on Cavs' team. You know what I mean? It's that leader that when you need a lift in the game, when you need someone to go and win that ball and lift everybody, crowd and all.
Yeah,
You know, that's
all.
what you want. Someone that's going to go in and just lift things. You know, so.
Yeah. No, I had to put Paul in there as leader and captain. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. No, I fully get it, man. Congratulations, Paul. All right, let's move on. Right wing forward, Kieran Finucane. And then honourable mention, John Mulhern.
John Mulhern, yeah. John plays for Edwardstown. John is an exceptional hurler. He has all the ability in the world. He's fast. He's a really crispy strike of the ball. I think they played him in goals for a while because he had such a good strike of the ball. But after Edwardstown, he's unbelievable. He kills us. He's savage, but he's probably not on the team because and again, I'm probably being hard on him. He's never brought that talent to the Longford hurlers like I think he should. He should have more influence. Do you know what I'm saying? He should have more influence on it. I don't know whether.
Is he playing with the seniors?
He's in Australia now, but he has been playing for the seniors for the last few years, and he's been good. Don't get me wrong. He's been very good, but he just has so much more ability in him. Do you know what I mean? He should be stepping up to be the main man on that team by now. And hopefully when he comes back he will, you know.
Well, you might have put the spur on him there now, Joe, by saying that, John. If you're listening,
yeah, and that's what I didn't
back, and he wants to see you putting your name on this team.
Yeah, putting him now, just inspire him for Longford, not Edwardstown.
Yeah. I thought that. I was thinking that. Now I come back now. I'll destroy you for Edwardstown, but isn't it again? As I'm saying, like, honourable mentions are not a bad thing. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
To get an honourable I'm sure there's about another 2 or 3 wing forwards that you could have put in there as well as honourable mentions.
Yeah, and I found it very hard to leave off the hurlers that I'm hurling with now. Again, as I said already, for long pitch, but we just haven't won as much as we should have. But an honourable mention is very good in this team because I've been hurling
and there's usually a reason, you know what I mean? So why is Kieran Finucane in? Like, why did he get the nod?
Kieran is he's Mr. Versatile. I had to get him in the team somewhere. I could have put him anywhere on the team, but he's just, like I've said about other lads, he's just such a good hurler. And do you know what he is? He's the ultimate competitor. He's so competitive. It's unbelievable. Loves it. And the last fella you want to be marking in a training game.
Yeah, because he's gonna make you work.
Yeah, but he pull and drag out his, like, that's his, when he's a back, that's his game. But what you have him here is he's do you know Tommy Welch, the Kilkenny hurler?
I do, yeah.
Describe him as him, right? He's very like him. In the ability that he can play forward as easily as back. He is too unbelievable. Left side, right side. I don't even know what the strongest side is. I don't know if he knows. But
that's a sure sign. That's a sure sign of class.
Yeah. Class player. Had to get him in the team. He was wing forward for us. We were one in Croke Park. But again, he could put him easily wing back, corner back, anywhere in the team. And he's still fit as anyone. I hope he comes back for Clongish. He's still fit as anyone up in Dublin, working at the minute and working on his fitness, so he could still do a job for you know. But brilliant hurler. And
very good, Kieran. You're in the team. Congratulations. Centre half forward, Martin Coyle. Jeez, I know Coyler well. Always had to mark him in the football.
Yeah,
we'll go to Shane O'Brien and Paul Barden Senior first.
Yeah, so Shane O'Brien is Twiggy. We call him Twiggy after the Shamrock Rovers soccer striker.
You're right.
A late bloomer in hurling. Never really, I think he played underage, but he would have been a few years younger than me. But started really coming into the senior team in the last few years, and just, again, as I said, improves every year. Unbelievable work rate, unbelievable striker of the ball. He'll guarantee you 2 or 3 points every game. But he was the main part of our game plan this year for Clongish, just directing things from centre forward, and just an ideal centre forward, winning that ball, spraying it into us, and then clocking over a few scores as well. You know, skill, like unbelievable hurler, and still a lot of improvement left in him as well.
Very good. Paul
Senior, yeah. I can't.
Well, this is actually the first. I've done a lot of Longford teams. I think I've done 5 or 6 Longford teams now, and this is the first one that he hasn't made.
Yeah, and he won't thank me for it.
Will he not?
What do I say about Paul? Like, Jesus,
is he good at the hurling? Yeah.
Unbelievable, yeah. Look, the statement from Trevor Smullen the other day was unbelievable, and have to agree with it. But like in hurling, he's only not on the team because he hasn't been able to give the commitment to the hurling. You know, he's such a knack. He won man the match in the hurling final in 2006. I don't know if he could be the only one. I don't know now. I know Bernie Connell might have, but to have won a hurling man the match and a football man the match in the county final, I'm not sure. I can't say that statement, but Paul has it anyway. But look, on his day in hurling, he's incredible. Like the same attributes as in football: pace, strength, making the right decisions. But a very natural hurler. Like people think, oh, we're trying to make him because he's so good to football, but he is a natural hurler. Like just brilliant.
Enjoy the hurling.
Yeah. Like I heard an interview with Davey, and he always said that Paul is always tipping away with the hurl. I know he's always tipping away with his son now, Zach, as well with the hurl, and he really enjoys it. I think after the pressure of the football, you know, he's under such immense pressure all the time in the football. I think he sort of takes that a bit off him in the hurling and sort of unleashes a bit of.
And has he ever played for Longford in hurling?
No. You see, he never played for Longford with hurling because he just hasn't been able to, you know. But for Clongish, any year he can commit, he does commit, and that's the only reason he's not on the team is because he's missed so many years.
Hasn't been able to give the commitment, but that's fair enough as well, you know.
Yeah. So look, we give him a shout out anyway, and I imagine his football team if you got him to pick it.
I don't know, man. With Paul, if he would or not, you know, he's kind of. It's hard to know. It would be some team. Now, if he decides, Paul, if you're listening, if you fancy picking your best 15 played against, man, I would love to hear that team. But I don't know. He's in with the county seniors now with Podgy, you know. So I've been trying to get Podgy to do it, and they're a bit hesitant, you know. They're in the spotlight now, and sure.
Yeah, look, it'll be some team, but my excuse if he doesn't pick me is because I didn't pick him on this, so.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, if he doesn't put you in there. But sure, listen, Paul, if you're up for it, man, yeah, it's all about, you know, it'd be interesting. It'd be something to hear. Yeah. I think it would just be great to hear who he admired, you know, what players he thought were good, because he set such a standard, you know what I mean? And
he's such an idol for everyone.
Exactly.
He's a hero of mine, and every time I get to play him, I second, like, you know, I'm so delighted. But it would be great, like you said, to see who he likes in a play, who he looks up to, you know.
Well, hopefully, maybe Stan will try.
We'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. Anyway, Coyler got the nod. Martin Coyle, know him well. Used to mark him a lot in the football.
Brilliant footballer as well. But look, as I said already about Bob, this fella's made of steel. You do not want to run into him. He's just an incredible, and the best club hurler the last I don't know how long he's been hurling for Edwarstown, but just incredible. Yeah, midfield, centre forward. For Longford, we usually use him centre forward. I know he was centre back this year, but like, he just goes out there and just gives everything. As I said already, a quiet leader.
Yeah, just tough as nails, though. Tough as steel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he is. He's just incredible, and he's like a robot. He just goes out there and does it all the time. It doesn't matter what he gets hit. He's a serious engine on him,
Is he
and
still
had
in
to
the
be my.
county?
Yeah, he went back in. He took a few years out, but he was back in this year now,
And how
and he's
was he?
hurt.
How was he moving?
I think he's hurling well as ever now. He's just he's
Yeah.
an incredible athlete. Yeah,
Must be
sure.
36, 35, 36 now.
36, yeah, 36, yeah. But like
Himself.
he's still Edwardstown's main marker in the football. You know, he's just he's an incredible athlete.
Yeah. And a stalwart of Longford hurling, like, you know what I mean? It's just been there
Oh,
for
for
sure.
sure,
And,
yeah.
and has the skills too, you know. Always had
Oh, he can, yeah,
the stick work,
100%.
you know. Yeah, 100%.
Back it up, yeah.
Perfect, man. Coiler, you're in there. Paul, sorry, it's the first team you haven't made, but sure. You can't make them all. You can't make them
Sorry,
all.
Paul.
Well, if he had committed now to the hurling, you know, he would have got in there. Isn't that right?
Yeah. There's still a chance for him to commit and get into
Oh
this
yeah, he
team.
could get into the next one. We'll do the same team next year. If he commits to the Longford hurling team this year, he'll get in. Right, left half forward. Owen Donnellan, honourable mention. Thomas Prunty.
Tomas Prunty, yeah. Tomas Prunty's from Clongish Club there. Again, a pure farmer strength. Just a pure natural hurler. He just wasn't the best for training. He never trained too much, but just on the day, he's probably the one hurler that never really needed to work on his touch. He just had it. He just comes to training and the odd day before a match, and it's like he's never been away. You know, he just has that natural. I don't know how he does it, but
Did you say he's a
brilliant.
farmer?
Yeah, farmer.
They're always fit.
Yeah. But just incredible, incredible hurler. He's played centre back for us when we won a senior, and he played forward the last few years for us any time we need him. But just had to put him in there just for natural hurling ability. He's right up there.
Very good. And then, but the man who got in was Owen Donnellan. Is he
The man who got in was
related
Owen.
to? Yeah, I know Owen. I think as well.
Yeah, a brother of Rory. Yeah,
Exactly,
look, Owen is the best striker of the ball I've ever played with on both sides. He, I think himself and Rory went to Ross Gray.
They did, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, too. So like you could tell the hurling they had learned down there. It was just a different to what Longford hurlers had learned, and you can see the way he plays like that. You know, everything he does is proper hurling, you know, with skills and everything, but just an incredible player. Like when I started with the county, he was wing back, and you'd know where the ball was coming as soon as he got it. He'd just drive it 100 yards into, you know, every time. But then he moved up into the forward line then, and he just had an incredible scoring rate. Just if you give him the ball, that was it, over the bar, left or right.
Yeah, well, that's again the ability, the left or right thing. Always, you know, it's a sure sign of someone. If you can hit it equally well off both sides, it makes you twice as dangerous. You know, it's the same.
Yeah,
same as a footballer with the right and the left. You know, if you have the both feet, it just makes you that bit more dangerous. You know,
and it is 100%, and it's the skills that the young lads need to be learning left and right. Like it's such an option to have, and like I said, Owen was just such a crispy striker off left and right. It was impossible to block him, you know.
Yeah, because he just twist you onto the other side and bang.
Yeah.
All right.
But a fierce strong fella too, and a brilliant free taker.
He looks fairly strong. All right.
Oh,
for sure.
fierce strong, yeah.
Perfect. Garrett G. Oh, geez, I thought the picture was a bit better than that. Sorry, Garrett. Honourable mention, right corner forward, Eamon Wall. Garrett G gets in corner. The club men.
Yeah, and the John Minnock there, I had honourable mention. Did I?
I think he could be in another one somewhere. Where did I put John Minnock? I might have him somewhere else. I think he's in somewhere. John Minnock.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry about that. Maybe I made a mistake. All right, well, we'll say John Minnock is in there as an honourable mention as well. You can talk about John.
Yeah, look, John Minnock, the best touch of anyone I've played with to hurley. Just an incredible touch. Probably would be the first one to admit his lack of pace probably stopped him from getting to where he wanted. But I used to love playing with John. He just had such a hurling brain. He used to.
These would be the boys in beside you.
Yeah. John would just set me up so much, and vice versa. But he was just an incredible hurling brain and such a touch. Like, you just give it into him with its stick once, one touch in the hand, and that was John. And like, he's given such commitment to hurling. Like all them other lads that like Fish and Coco and Kieran have moved away, but John has just played with us whenever he needed. He even played with us after he got a pacemaker in.
Was he in with? Would he have been with Coco and Mel's.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
he would have been.
I know. I was trying to place the name John Milk and Coco. The two of them would be the two main men in Mel's.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
I'm sure
such
he's in
an
there
incredible.
somewhere. I'm sorry about that now if he was
Yeah,
supposed
no, because I have him selector as well, so I'd say that's what it might have been.
to. Okay, very good. But
Yeah, so
Eamon
yeah,
Wall then got an honourable mention as well, a bit before your time.
bit before my time. Yeah, just like Mick Wall, just I suppose put a lot of into hurling, and the Wall family would be synonymous with Longford hurling. So that's what he was. I think he was in the 2003 team before, or 2002 league winning team before I came on the scene. But yeah,
Yeah,
just an honourable mention
give him
there.
an honourable mention. But Garrett got the nod.
Yeah, look, Garrett had to be in the team. Garrett was probably the most famous hurler in Longford, known his name all over the country.
Mm.
He's just an incredible scorer, like a real. If you were to watch, like I was saying, Owen has all the proper skills of a hurler and looks like a hurler, but Garrett is the opposite. Garrett looks like a really awkward hurler, but yet is impossible to block down or hook. He had that incredible pace, brilliant first touch, but he was one of the quickest minds I've ever seen on the hurling pitch. Do you know them lads that seem to be a step ahead of everyone else? Like a quick sideline might be on, or a quick free might be on, or he was always looking for a quick free for goal. And I remember in Monaghan one day himself and Owen getting 2 goals in the last minute out of quick frees. Just that incredible quick thinking brain, but just a brilliant score. But he used to rack up such big scores, but I was only thinking about him the other day. You wouldn't call him a selfish hurler.
Yeah.
Like if there was a player in a better position, Garrett would give it to them. But yeah, he'd still rack up a brilliant score. Like he was so accurate.
And a
It
great
was
footballer
incredible.
as well. And cornerback
Brilliant
football.
Yeah, total opposite footballer. A real tough cornerback that doesn't give you a second. But hurling, he was just great to play with and always a gentleman as well. Great
Yeah, I was
character.
going to say that. A sound man, just a
Yeah.
genuine, hard-working, I think got the best out of his attributes, you know what I mean? Really got the best out of himself,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, classy. But I actually have to say, I haven't seen him play hurling. I'd like to see him play hurling. Is he still playing?
Oh, yeah. He's still playing, yeah. He played in the county final last year against us.
Is he in with the county?
No, he hasn't played county in a long time. No, he's sort of stepped away from Lashers for a while as well. But he's back a few years and he's still as hard to mark as ever.
All right, so you're on, and yeah, John Minnick was in on the other corner as well. So John, don't worry, you were in Blair for an honourable mention, right?
He was.
Full forward, Sean Brown, honourable mentions, John Newman, Neil Casey.
Yeah, honourable mentions. Look, Neil Casey was Neil was a brilliant hurler. He was from Clongish, a young lad. I'd say about 6'5", but we used to put him in full forward, and he was the only player I've ever seen give Tommy Stakem the run around. He was a monster of a man, and he's an honourable mention because he only played 2 or 3 years, and then he went up to Kilmacud. Probably never fulfilled his potential for Longford, but then he moved to Canada then. But if he had stayed around, he was an incredible hurler.
Yeah, he would have been
a brilliant hurler. Yeah.
And John
And
Newman?
he was John Newman, yeah. Oh, look, John has given everything to the
stalwart.
Stalwart, but so underestimated on every team. And I was thinking last night why he was so underestimated, and it was probably because
he was forward on my Slashers team.
He was
14.
Just such a gent and such a genuine, quiet fella that managers probably thought, oh look, if we take him off, he won't say anything. Do you know that type of fella?
Too nice.
Too nice. Yeah, he was just such a gent, but he was a brilliant hurler, and he went up to Salt Hill for a while, and we ended up playing them in what championship was it? I can't think of the name now. We played in it for a few years. They did a mixed competition, but he was playing for Salt Hill, and I think he was captain of them that day, which shows the influence he had up there. And again, a brilliant ball winner, brilliant free taker, just brilliant
great striker of the ball.
Unbelievable striker of the ball, such power. And I tell you a good one about him. We used to call him rubber wrists. We used to do this challenge again in the ball wall in Cullion. You had a minute to hit as many ball, like just striking. You're only 4 or 5 yards away from the ball or away from the wall, and strike how many times to see if you could catch it. And Newman used to he used to clean us out. He beat everyone else by 6 or 7 shots.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Wrists.
It used to kill me. Yeah, it used to kill me. I'd go back. I'd be doing on my own at home to try and beat him, and I could never. I just cut it. Killed me, but it's incredible wrist power, you know.
Very good. Nah, John is a sound man and dedicated himself to the football, or to the hurling. So I'm glad to see him getting the honourable mention there. But Sean Brown got the nod at full forward.
Sean Brown got the nod. Yeah, again, you could put him anywhere in this team. He I do call him Mr. Longford hurling. He was just there for so long, but there on Murrick, like, just incredible. Just definitely the strongest man I've ever hurled against. He had arms bigger than my legs anyway, but most people's legs.
Yeah.
But he was just a brilliant hurler. Like, just got on with it. Like I said, you could play him anywhere. I remember he was full back, centre back, midfield, centre forward on all things, but he was always in the middle of the team. He was all, he was always
up the spine of the team somewhere.
Yeah, always in the spine of the team. Just a brilliant hurler. And look, a fella you didn't want to mess with on the pitch. Yeah. But off the pitch, such a gent. I shared rooms with him a few times. Great stories from Sean, but just a legend of a man. I really look up to him. And
yeah, he got the nod.
Yeah, a brilliant player. Got the nod full forward.
And that's your position, so obviously you would know the position fairly well.
Yeah.
You're playing full forward, don't you, most of the time?
Yeah, I play. Yeah, that's probably where I play the most. Yeah.
Yeah, so he got the nod. Congratulations, Shawnee. And then left corner forward, Mark Cassidy, with honourable mentions Ruben Murray, Cian Kavanagh.
Yeah, look, Cian and Ruben, I could throw them in the same boat. They're two brilliant hurlers. They've all the skills. I remember Ruben's been around the county since he's been, as you said, Jennifer's at every game, but Ruben will be at every training since he's knee high, and just the touch on him, it's just he's the most amazing touch. He could just, as they say in Tipperary, make the ball talk with the hurl. Just himself and Cian, like Cian's another brilliant player. He just the two boys, like, they could be corner forwards on that team for a long time. Yeah. Brilliant players, really brilliant players, but just not on it. They haven't been around long enough yet, but two class players and two gents, madmen. Like the nod, though. Known to have Buckfast in their bag before a game.
Ruben and Cian.
Ruben and Cian, yeah.
Oh, Jesus, lads, the bookie for after the game, that's a new one. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a new one, yeah. Them boys come up with it.
Never thought of that.
Conor Gallagher will be another one for it. Yeah, no, that's a great lad.
Would they have it, like, in the dressing room after, or would they wait till they get out?
No, they'll have a few sups in the dressing room, and then finish it on the bus.
Finish it on the bus, or go to the pub and shake it into them in the pub, maybe in the McKeown.
Yeah, probably.
Very good. But Cass got the nod.
Mark Cass got the nod. What a player! What a legend! He just another character. Look, the stories you could tell about this man. He just one of the biggest characters I've ever played with. But I just clicked with Mark from the word go. I'll tell you a good story about him. I was down. I don't know what age I was. I must have been 13 or 14. I was down taking frees in the pitch, and the senior hurlers were hurling the other end. And just out of nowhere, just Mark came up, and it was the year he was top scorer in the whole of Ireland. And such a humble fella. He came up to me. He didn't start giving me any tips or anything. He just came up for a chat, just saying that he knew me and he was looking forward to when I was coming into the senior team to play with me. And I never forget him for that.
Yeah, but sound.
Yeah. As soon as I got into that senior team, he was so welcoming. He was just such a nice man to me. And then an incredible scorer, an incredible player. He did such a low centre of gravity, and the skill to go with it. Lads couldn't get near him. Like, you think he'd be bottled up and then just gone out and over the bar or in the net. Like, an incredible player.
We'll put him in as your vice captain, so.
Yeah, vice captain. Yeah.
Vice captain. Yeah, but I think that's a true sign of class. A man that recognizes that you're going to be the one kind of taking over the mantle and doesn't have any sort of jealousy, that this fella's going to come and take my spot. No, it's kind of saying, no, come on in, and kind of showing you the ropes and helping you into the senior game, because it's not
exactly
there, you know what I mean? You're going in against men.
And that's why I've sort of gone for that older generation on this team, and I was thinking why I've done it and why. But all of them fellas gave me such a welcome when I came onto that team, and there was no, like you said, trying to keep them down. It was just come in, one of us straight away.
Get the best out of you.
Yeah, get the best, and always trying to help. Like, all of them always trying to help you and build you up, and none of this keeping you down, and Mark was one of the best at that. But just, it was such a welcome dressing room, and that's probably why I have most of them lads in.
He looks like a corner forward.
Oh yeah, he was brilliant.
Looks
he had
like
everything.
One, nippy, fast, sharp, quick turn.
Unreal nippy player.
Perfect. So that's your team, but
team, yeah.
There are a few of what we call the outsiders. So you'll have to explain. These are lads that came from from other clubs or from other counties.
Yes, what happened was I'm not sure the year, but they wanted to strengthen the weaker counties, and they were looking at counties like Wicklow and counties like that, hoping a few from Wexford went in there, and maybe Kerry got a few Clare players in, sort of, that weren't making the Clare panel, or they weren't making, and they sort of were aiming for that group rather than Longford, the Longfords and that. But what happened then was we were allowed 5 permit players, but they had to be living in Longford.
Right.
So now, it was a good thing and a bad thing, and some people thought it was going to be a very bad thing, but I thought it was the best thing that ever happened to Longford, because we got these 2 lads at the start, Declan Tanner and Conor Egan. They're the Conor is the fella in the middle with the child, and Declan is down the bottom left. And them 2 came in at the start. They were the first 2 in, and a few other lads came in with them. But them 2 just, and especially Declan, just lifted the standard of hurling in Longford. So he would not accept what we were accepting for so long. Like, we thought that was acceptable, but it wasn't. And he just brought us to another level. And he was such...
What was his county?
Declan had them 2 boys were Offaly, and they were actually guards in Longford. That's why how we got them.
Right.
And we were very lucky to get them, because, like I said, I've known other counties to get in lads that don't care about the county, they don't care about coming in and helping. But these 2 boys came in and just wanted to bring on the standard. And like, Declan was absolute. I never forget. He was the one giving us the speeches before the game. Like, and you'd swear he was the most proud Longford man ever. Like, he wanted to wear that Longford jersey, and like you said at the start, he was the one saying, "Look up in the stand. These are the only people that care about Longford hurling. These are the only ones you need to matter." And I never understood him when I was younger. I never understood why he's saying that, but I do now. He was using that as a motivating factor. But a brilliant hurler, and like I said already, such a strong player. But Wag, then we called Wag, Conor Egan was Wag, and he was anywhere in the back line, just a Rolls Royce of a hurler, but incredibly strong and gifted. Now, quieter on the pitch than Declan, but a great character off it. And brilliant. Them 2 boys were just such an influence on me and the rest of the team at the start. And then we were lucky. As I said, we were very lucky. We moved on then to... Them boys were still there in 2010 when we won. And I don't know if they were there in 2014. They could have been. But we lost in the 2013 final. Yeah, they were still there in 2014. And Conor and Cathal Milan came in. Conor Flanagan would be married to my wife's sister, and he's from Westmeath, so he was living down there, and we got him in. And a quiet fella, like, no one knew how good he was when he came in. Even I knew him well, but I didn't know how good he was. But he came in the dressing room the first day, and he was watching the match in Croke Park the year before, and there was no bullshit with him. He just came in and said, "Lads, you're not fit enough to hurl up in Croke Park." And that was the honest truth. We were caught out on a really hot day up against Warwickshire, and there was no beating around the bush with him. He came in straight away and he said, "Look, we need to get fit. We need to improve on everything." And very like Declan Tanner, would not accept 50%, 60%, 70%. And one of the best leaders. Like, he only hurled for us 2 or 3 years, but one of the best leaders I played with. Just a quiet assassin centre back. Just would. The centre forward is not going to do anything when he's there.
Yeah.
Then Cathal Milan, like, I have to say, Cathal he's definitely the best player I've ever played with. Just different class, and like, the team I've named there have some unbelievable hurlers, but he's just
A lot of
different
these
class.
lads would be in as well, but you went for just for Longford lads.
Yeah, oh yeah,
This
oh yeah.
team, but yeah, I think it's nice to give these boys a mention because it sounds like they had a really positive effect on Longford.
And like we thought when Declan came, we thought he brought an intensity to it, and then Milan came, and we talked about a tackling forward. Like he would kill backs getting out of the back line. Like they would knock it out easy, and it wouldn't even be his own man, but he just brought that to the Longford team, and just so good to learn from. You know, he hurled for Limerick. He hurled at the best with the best of them. He hurled the high standard. He knew where he was coming from, and he's just a gentleman. But just, I think, definitely the best forward have had a connection with. You know, just know what he's going to do with the ball, and he seems to know what I'm going to do with the ball, and just a pleasure to play with.
Very good. And Bart Hanley?
Bart Hanley is our newest recruit. Yeah, he just Limerick as well, and just
nice to get the Limerick boys and the Offaly boys into the team, though, isn't it? It's like that's where the hurling is so strong, you know.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, and he just brings the ruthlessness again. Like and that's them boys come into like the physicality of other counties hurling. You know, like Longford the lower levels will be a different kind of physicality. It will be sort of you'd be more liable to get pulled across rather than really physical. Yeah, but these boys brought in that physicality and they brought the training, and they weren't shy about it. And you know what? These 5 boys here were bigger leaders than most lads from Longford, and they drove on the Longford team more than anyone I can remember for the last.
Which is great to hear, like lads coming in and actually feeling and probably feel like they're Longford lads now.
Yeah, 100%. Like Bart is living in Longford now and hurling with Clongish, and he's it's like he's been there for years. He can now train footballers this year and straight into it. You know, not a bother.
Gold blood now.
Yeah, but brilliant hurler. And like I'm not even mentioning all the fellas we've had in. Like we've had great hurlers: Paddy Walsh, Kevin Keneally, Jamie Rosney, but they weren't around as long.
These were the 5 that stood out.
The 5 I picked. Yeah, these are the 5 I picked just for having a great influence on us.
Right, and here's 3 lads players that Longford wouldn't mind signing. So we have Damien Casey from Tyrone, Danny Cullen from Donegal, Eamon Gleeson from Warwickshire.
Yeah, when you ask me to name 3 players, 3 of the best players I've played against, the 2 boys came straight to mind. I told you to take me 2 seconds. That Damien Casey and Danny Cullen. Like Damien Casey would be the lower divisions TJ Reid. He just is lethal. And I mean, if you give a free away anywhere within 100 yards, he nails it. He's the best free taker I've ever seen in my life. And that includes the top players. He never misses. Ever misses, and he's a monster of a man.
He looks big, all right.
He's a monster of a man, but I know he got a lot of coverage last year. He was travelling over and back from England to play, and I think he was up there with the top scorers in Ireland, but a brilliant player. He came straight to mind. And then Danny Cullen there for Donegal.
I recognise him, all right.
Yeah, Danny's the same age as me, so I would have played against him under 14, 16, 18, the whole way up, and he just always broke my heart. Just midfield player, just does everything exceptional. He's just brilliant. Like I heard this year against Longford, they moved him in full forward, and the boys struggled against him big time. He's just he could play anywhere, but he just comes to mind. He could go up any level. The 2 boys could go up any level. You know, they're brilliant.
And then Eamon Gleeson from Warwickshire.
Third fella is a funny story. That time that Warwickshire bet us in the final. So I was captain of that team, and we went over to Warwickshire to play them in the first round. And I can't quite remember. It was a close game. I don't know whether it was a draw or the bet us by a point. But we were missing a few, and we were very confident of getting them back. Sort of Fermanagh were our main rivals. So we hammered Fermanagh in the semi-final. Absolutely hockeyed them in Pearse Park. And we went into this final thinking, we have these boys, we're at full strength, we'll beat them. And it was only after someone told me, this Eamon Gleeson fella marched up to Warwickshire training session a week before the final and asked would he play. And they got him signed up, they got him registered, and he started centre back that day in Croke Park. And I'd say no one has ever played as well as him. He just...
a stormer.
His manager after said it was like he got off the bus that day and the sliotar just fell into his hand. That's the type of day he had.
Yeah.
He cleaned us out. He was, I don't know whether he was Limerick or Cork. He was down Munster anyway, but I never heard of him since. I never heard tell of him since, but just that day.
He made it.
Yeah, I'll never forgive him for it. He was incredible.
Best point ever, Brian Cuchulainn Brady. Yeah, in a legendary game of hurling played many moons ago, a point was scored the likes of which had never been seen before and has never been seen since. Today, Joe O'Brien shall do his utmost to describe the score, but will inevitably fall short in his efforts, as even Chuck Norris himself would have been, dare I say it, incapable of this feat, of what many have described as immortal genius.
That's brilliant.
Joe,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Best
point ever is a bold statement.
Yeah.
It's like best player ever. Bold statement, you know?
Yeah. This is the best character I've ever met in my life. He's invaluable in any team. Like, just a brilliant hurler too. But just such crack we've had with him, and I could tell stories about him all day. But this point was in a minor final for Clongish. It was actually played out in Dromard in the home of hurling. But he's told me this story so many times. But I was at the game and I was standing with his father, the King Cuckoo as they call him. But I'd say now the ball came to him. I'd say he was easily in midfield, and the ball, I don't know whether someone blocked down or it came to him on a bounce anyway. And on the half bounce, Brian pulled on it, or Cuchulainn, I should say, pulled on it. And it sailed and kept sailing and kept sailing and over the bar.
It ended up in Cavan, did it?
Ended up in Cavan. And the whole play, it was like Paul's point against Down, though, except the whole place was in shock. They didn't stand up and clap. They just stood there with their mouths open. No one knew what happened.
Everybody just dropped the hurls and went to the pub.
Yeah, that was it. They just gave us the trophy for it.
That's it. Game over. Very good. Yeah. Well, that's actually, you did pretty well. But we need a video of that. If anyone has a video of Brian Cuchulainn Brady's point out in Dromard there on the half volley from the halfway line, you know,
we might get him to recreate it, and then
we could just recreate it exactly, and we could get someone to narrate the whole thing. That would be savage. Very good. Congrats, Brian. You made the best point. You scored the best point ever, man. That's a huge accolade. Yeah. Huge accolade. Very good. Right. The Banish store is Tom Lynham. And then the backroom team, John Minnock here, John Finucane, Fergus Darcy, and John O'Brien. So John Minnock is in the backroom team, but he's also honourable.
Yeah. So he was honourable mention corner forward, and as I said, he's committed. As soon as he retired, he was even player manager for a while with us with Clongish. But such a cool, calm character to have on the sideline. He just, nothing phases him. He's just always thinking of the best decision, no rash decisions. Just always encouraging lads, but he's great to have in the club, and just hurling mad, you know. Well, like there was we had a lot of hurling legends in Newtown, but for some reason there for a while, just no one wanted to touch us, no one wanted to commit. But John just took up the reins and has been there ever since. Yeah, so he's in the
hurling in the blood there, man.
Oh, big time, yeah. Wouldn't know what to do without it.
John Finucane,
another unbelievable hurling man. He came from originally from Dublin. He would have hurled with my dad and Noel Daly for Slashers. I know they won a few championships for Slashers, but John's incredible. From Aaron's Isle Club in Dublin, and he's Kieran's dad that I have on the team, and like Kieran, he's just the ultimate competitor, but he's the deepest thinker of the game I have ever met in my life. He's hurling 24/7. He's not like,
loves a cup of tea, a few biscuits, and talk about hurling.
During this virus, I have got more phone calls from John about what happened last year and where we can improve and what training techniques he can improve on. And like, he's without shadow doubt the best trainer I've ever had. Like, he just himself and Damien Fox. We had Damien Fox down last year as well. Incredible trainers, you know, and just. He's brilliant. I can't really say much more about him. He's been involved in nearly every successful team Longford has, do you know?
Yeah, 100%. And then Fergus Darcy and John O'Brien.
Fergus, yeah, Fergus is another legend. Yeah, just Fergus came from the Fianna club. We were very lucky to get him. He fell in with the hurlers, and just his enthusiasm for it is incredible. He's just brilliant to have an Imagine team. Great head on him on the sideline as well, but just a brilliant motivator. Mad for the crack, gets on with all the players, and just he's the fella that goes around collecting all the hurlers. I guarantee you got loads of them calls. Fergus is the fella that makes them calls and gets lads to come down back hurling for Clongish that mightn't have been hurling for a while. Yeah, and then John, as I said already about John O'Brien, my cousin Seabass, he's just a leader. He's selected on the football team as well. We're lucky to have a brilliant management team with the football. We actually are. Did you play soccer with John Rogers?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Johnny's our manager now for the football team, and
he's
just
good soccer
brilliant
player he was.
Yeah, brilliant Gaelic player too. But
Striker.
he came into us halfway through the year last year and just transformed the whole club. Himself and John. But
yeah, we
John
played
O'Brien,
last year. You were moving very well.
Yeah,
I was
John
actually surprised you didn't go on further, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, we lost a quarter final that could have gone either way. We just didn't play well at all. So look, them things happen. But John
he only came in halfway through, did he?
Yeah, came in May. Yeah, so he's sort of under pressure to get what he wanted into the club. But
he's back, which is
back again. Yeah, back again.
Good.
So like, him and John O'Brien just clicked. Like they're just so into details and want the best for every player. And like John is the respect of everyone. So I had him in there selector on this team as well.
Very good. And Tom Lynham got the bonus role.
Yeah, the main man, the fella. Used to break my heart ringing me when I was young to try and come into the senior team, but just never committed to him. But he never held it against me. I had fellas advise me at the time not to go in too young, fellas that were respected. I probably always blamed Dad to Tom, but it wasn't Dad stopping me, but it was other people just advising me, saying, look.
Yeah, I was the same. Sure, when I was asked to go into senior teams, I remember Granard at 16, 17, and my old boy was like, no, and it's kind of like, that's what happens. You have people looking out for you as well, but...
But Tom never held it against me, and anytime I met him, he would be talking about, but I've never met a manager like... I've had some brilliant managers, as I said, with the football and the hurling. I've been so lucky. We had Ray Gavin from Westmeath, and we had Colm O'Mara from Galway, and we had Derek Frehel from Galway at the minute, who's brilliant. We'd Frank Brown from Mayo, who's managed great things. But I've never had a manager that seemed to understand me as much as Tom, if you know what I mean. He seemed to know what I needed. He seemed to know what I wanted to hear. If I need to be revved up, or I needed to be told I was great, or told I was shite, he just always seemed to have the right words.
Or there's something wrong with you, like what's up with you? I can tell you're not yourself. Read you.
Yeah, and really cared for his players. And like I love for him to get back involved in the hurling. He was such an incredible manager. He managed that minor team, he managed the senior team, and anything he touched just turned to goal. But do you know what? He was really up for the crack as well. Like them trips to Warwickshire, he was stuck in the middle of us all the time. Like, look, just up for the crack, but yet knew when to crack the whip, if you know what I mean. Like, lads, he had all lads' respect.
Yeah, well, that's why I chose the photo. There was another photo of him looking all serious, but I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, he looks like he's after winning something important there. So, he looks like he felt it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was our first Laurie Maher, and he was the brainchild behind all that. But just a brilliant manager and brilliant fella. You just so much respect for him. I see him up golfing now at the minute. I might try and get him back involved somehow. But
very good. Great. Well, Tom, if you're listening, you got the nod. They want you back. You're missed. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Legend,
so that's it, Joe. That's
thing, it, man. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. I know it's not easy because you're still playing and you don't want to offend anyone. And listen, anybody that's listening in, this was a tough team to pick, and fair play to Joe for doing it, because I've asked a few other people and they won't do it because they don't want to offend anyone. But I think it's very important that we support the hurlers as much as the footballers and the soccer team. And you know, that you boys put in huge efforts and as much as anybody, and you need to start getting a bit more credit for what you do, and you
Yeah, and
put everything into it, you know.
yeah, and that's why I did it, Stephen, to get the recognition for them players I haven't got before. And like
Exactly.
I as I said to you at the start, I knew it was going to be hard, and I probably have offended people, but I didn't
Ah,
mean
you
to. But
haven't, man. To be honest, Joe, like
uh,
everybody that's in there is delighted to be in there, and anybody that's not in there is not going to say anything to you about it.
yeah, like I said,
To be honest,
the hurling fraternity in Longford is very close. You know, there's not too many of us around. I think Colin O'Mara said there was 60 hurlers in Longford or something when he was down. So look,
so
thanks a million. I appreciate it, Stephen,
not
and
at all,
appreciate.
man. It was actually really good to catch up and to talk about the hurling a bit, because I actually love playing myself. Just it's like a few other people there. You get dragged away into other
Yeah,
sports,
yeah,
but the
yeah,
hurling is
do.
fun, you know. And I would encourage young people to get out there and hurl for Longford, and I would also like to see like a bit more effort to get kind of collaboration between, you know, hurling and football, and start getting
Yeah,
you guys to play in front of crowds, like, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
not
and
that
that's it.
hard,
Like,
you know.
yeah, and that's it. And like even like to improve Longford hurling is going to have to come from the underage. And at the minute, we've one hurling development officer, Seamus Hughes from Cavan, and he's brilliant. But like he's doing all that on his own. Like, and I know Damien Sheridan is trying to get as much, but like one hurling officer is not enough for a big county like Longford. It just needs more development in the game. And like you said, there's no harm. There's no reason why senior games can't be put before the senior football games, you know, to get that
100%.
interest in. And if people go and watch it, I guarantee they will enjoy it and come back to watch it
Well,
again.
they'll see a
So,
team given 100% at the minimum, and then you'll also get to see the skills that are top notch. Like, you know what I mean? So, I just think that from my perspective, I spend a lot of time on social media, and I never see any like videos of you lads, or, you know, anything sort of like, and I don't, to be honest, I don't see a lot in general
yeah.
for any of the teams, but the hurling in particular gets a bit of a raw deal. So I think we need
Yeah,
to,
look, you just want the respect of everyone else. We have nothing
exactly,
against the
and
footballers and what
deserve
they
it,
do.
man.
Yeah.
100% deserve it. So thanks a million for doing it,
So,
Joe,
thanks,
and
Stephen. Thanks for all your
I'm
efforts.
gonna
Thanks.
try and get to a game or two if I can. If I'm around Longford, I'll pop down to watches. All right.
Thanks a million, Stephen. Appreciate it.
No worries, dude. All right. See you on the field. Good
Yeah,
luck.
exactly. Good
Peace,
luck.
man.